Welcome, and thanks for joining in. My name is Samantha Van Tonder, and today we're going to review a presentation on the implementation of a class reward system in order to improve classroom participation. Let's talk basis for the study. Throughout recent years, at all schools around the globe, including my school, students have struggled with participation within the classroom. Now, as an educator, you know this is no secret. With laws such as the Literacy Act carried out in the elementary school setting, faculty is pressured, probably now more than ever, to improve student participation in order to increase content retention among students. The purpose of this study was to determine the effectiveness of the implementation of a classroom reward system in order to increase student participation. Okay, let's talk a bit about the actual study. So, the study investigated whether a classroom reward system would significantly improve student participation within the classroom, thus improving student academic performance. In the initial phase of implementing, I anticipated that the reward system would have a positive effect and significantly improve student participation and performance, therefore leading to better academic achievement. Throughout the experiment, data was collected at the initial implementation of the reward system and then again after 2 weeks. Data. Let's talk data. As educators, we love data. Data before implementation of the reward system. If you look at the graph that's displayed there on your screen, you can see that Classroom B has a much higher percentage of students that have a B average in comparison to Classroom A, which was quite interesting because they are both fifth grade classes. They are both from the same school and they both have the same English language arts teacher. Okay, but what we did take note of was that Classroom B is composed of automatic, self motivated higher achievers. So little was required to motivate them in order to succeed and have the B average. Classroom A is composed of a majority of English language learners, and they tend to be a little more reluctant. So when viewing this data on the graph, you can see that Classroom B has 80% of students that have a B average in comparison to Classroom A, where only 53% of the students have a B average. Anticipated limitations. Anticipated limitations to the study were peer pressure, in which student participation is viewed negatively, dynamic within the classroom, and the lack of overall motivation. Okay, let's be real. We're dealing with fifth graders here. You never know what's showing up in the morning. And in fifth grade, peer pressure is huge. So I wasn't quite sure how participation was going to be viewed from peer to peer. Because this study took place in fifth grade, student behavior can be very unpredictable. And this study also employed the use of constructivist theory, and many teachers along my grade level were hesitant to get on board because they felt like it required additional planning and that they would have to relax their classroom rules just a little bit. So that was a limitation that was taken note of. The reward system chosen. A reward system was chosen after receiving student feedback. A Google form was sent out and students provided feedback, and it was all unanimous. And then they chose bucks as their reward. The bucks are collected, accumulated, and spent at student discretion on items from the store within our classroom. Research findings. Based on preliminary data collected from a survey and classroom observations, after implementing the class reward system, the following findings emerged. Increased participation. There was a noticeable increase in the number of students voluntarily, this is huge, voluntarily participating during discussions and group activities. As an educator, not only do I look at my students' academic performances, but I take note of their participation during class as well. So this was a huge achievement. Improved attitudes and peer interaction. Many students reported feeling more motivated and excited about learning, leading to a more positive classroom atmosphere. The reward system encouraged students to work together, fostering collaboration and teamwork among peers. This shift in our classroom culture was incredible. They were all working hard to receive these bucks. Data collection. The following data was collected over a 2-week period after implementing the reward system. Students were encouraged to earn bucks for various activities such as answering questions, contributing to group discussions, and facilitating, being facilitators of learning with their peers. Okay, graphic representation after implementing the reward system. You can see the graph there displayed on your screen. Look at the climb between Class A and Class B. So Class A has gone from a 53% B average to a 76% B average. That's amazing. It proves that the implementation and the reward system chosen for these students worked well. Rates of participation increase. Class participation rates from week 1 went up 45%, and then week 2 went up to 60%. And this data was collected through an observation checklist that I created. Student survey. So not only was it important to me that the data reflected a growth, but also I needed insight from the students as to how they were feeling post implementation. And this was sent out as a Google link, and students filled it out, and then their responses came back anonymously. So they felt really comfortable completing it and being honest. And what they stated back was that 80% of them felt more engaged in the lessons, which was huge because engagement with fifth graders is always a struggle. 68% enjoyed working with their classmates. Again, fifth graders, not always getting along. We have a lot of conflict, so that was great. 64% believe that the reward system motivated them to contribute more to class discussions. Contributing within class increased substantially, so much so that I noticed it even without having to have the checklist in front of me, which was what we set out to do. In conclusion, the data collected demonstrates a substantial increase in class participation following the implementation of a reward system. Moving forward, it would be beneficial to explore various types of rewards that resonate with students to maintain and further enhance their motivation and engagement in the classroom. A regular reassessment of the system's effectiveness and student feedback will be critical in ensuring ongoing success and adaptability. All in all, this was a very eye-opening experience, especially after sitting down and looking at the data and seeing things that I could do to assist them in academic growth. And that being said, yeah, thanks for joining.